think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I were home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It sure would be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend and let me start again. Suddenly my world is gone and changed its face.
Good morning. Let's begin by taking 2 collective breaths. Breathe in and release. Breathe in again and release. Please close your eyes if you haven't already. I want you to answer the following questions. In what location would you love to live? In a warm environment? In a colder climate? Or in exactly the same city that you already live in? See it, feel it, smell it, hear it. What would your ideal home look like? See it, feel it, smell it, hear it. What would your ideal wardrobe look like? See yourself wearing things you would love to wear. What is the ideal amount of money in your bank account? See your ideal bank balance. Feel how it would feel to have that balance, to feel the security of having that balance. What is your ideal body? What does it look like? See it. Envision it. See it in the mirror. How does it feel to be in that body? What are some of the words that describe your ideal body? What is your ideal job? See yourself doing it. If you are unsure of what you would like to visualize as your job, then visualize yourself doing something that you love to do. What do you love to do? What is your ideal state of mind? How do you want to feel on a daily basis? What are 3 things that you are most grateful for right now? Let's take 2 more deep breaths as we return to the room. Breathe in and release. Breathe in and and release. And when it's comfortable for you, open your eyes and return to the room. Thank you. Namaste.
All is well. Beautiful song by Karen Trucker. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. 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 I can rest. I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. 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 Yes, I can rest. Yes, I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. And all is well. Sounds so beautiful. You are the face of God. Where's Jim? I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Yes, I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are my family. You are the face of God. If you will, relax yourself in your seat. Move into that loving space and allow my words, if you will, to be your words as I speak in the first person. I'm so grateful today to know that there is only one God. That this God is the whole. That everything that is exists in this space of this whole that I call God. This power, this presence, this whole has no beginning, no end, no edge.
It just is. Everywhere present as love, as life, as peace and joy, as the plenty of life, that abundance that flows ever so freely at the level to which we open our hearts and our minds to receive it. I'm so grateful to know that this power and this presence lives at the center of me, that I am centered in it and it is centered in me, that it surrounds me, that it fills me with love and as light and as peace and as good. And I know that this is not only true for me, it is true for each and every person in this place. It is true for each and every person in this city. It is true for each and every person everywhere, because God is that whole. And so from this place of unity with love and life and goodness and health and wholeness, I speak my word today. I absolutely know the truth. I know that God I am grateful to know that today is a blessed day, and that everyone and everything and every place in this day is blessed by this divine. I know that life is eternal. I know that each one of us chooses how we want life to be. And I know that whatever shows up is what we have called forth. And so I declare today for myself and for everyone here that we each are at choice as to how our lives look, and that with an open heart we can have everything we want. I'm so grateful today for this service. I'm so grateful today for our reverence. I'm grateful for the message that Reverend Dan is bringing. I'm grateful for the music. It always meets the needs of the message. I am grateful for the sound people, for Julius, for everyone who gives their time and their love to this center. It does not operate by itself. God is in each person, guiding and directing the way this day, this center turns out. And so I'm grateful today for the truth that I've spoken. I'm grateful for the children, for the teachers. And so from this place of gratitude and with absolute faith, the faith of God in all that I think, say, and do, I release this word to that divine law, knowing right here and right now that it is done. I'm going to step back and speak a blessing for the fathers today, knowing that God is in and through each and every one. I honor the dads today, knowing that every one of them does their absolute best to be the best father that they can be. And while to some of us it may not look that like it's being done the way we, I, you, everyone would like to see it done, what I know is that God is in charge and that there are no mistakes and that every effort that every father makes, God is in charge. God is back of all of it. So I'm grateful for the dads, and I know and I honor them today, and I give them my blessings, which are the blessings of God. And so I let go, and I let God, as I release this word with gratitude to that divine law, knowing that it is done as I've spoken. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen.
Happy Father's Day. Oh, you feel like that, huh? Oh, is that how it's going to be? Stand up if you feel that way, right? All right. Looks like your exercise is good for it. All right? So here we go. Yes, you are. Every day of my life, I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning, come on, lay my head to rest. I am blessed. Hey, I am blessed. I am loved. I know it. I am loved. Yes, I am. Every day of my life, I am loved, 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 loved. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am loved. Yes, I am loved. I can't hear you. I am healed. Yes, I am healed. Yes, we are. Every day of my life, I am healed. I know you are. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am healed. I'll take it. I am healed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Can't hear you. I am blessed. Oh, I am. Every day of my life, I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. Yes, I am blessed. One more time, he says, I am blessed. Yes, I am blessed. Yes, you are. Every day of my life, I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. Here we go. I am blessed. Oh, I am blessed. I am blessed. Yes, I am blessed. Yes, you are blessed. I am blessed. Yes, I am blessed. I love you so much, Reverend Shirley.
Awesome. While you're standing, if it's comfortable for you, put your hand over your heart and say with me, God bless America and the rest of the world. And turn to a neighbor and say, good morning, happy Father's Day, happy day.
beautiful day because we have one of our favorite singers ever, Genevieve Dew. Not only is she a stunner, she's newly married to that beautiful Jim right next to her. Thank you, Dave. Dave. Thanks, Dave. See, I put it too far away from that. He's so smart. Thank you, Dave. Please welcome the stunning, most beautiful thing walking around, Miss Genevieve Dew.
Wow, what an intro. Good morning. Good morning. And happy Father's Day. And again, in trying to choose a song, whenever I try to change it, it won't change. And I can remember when I was little and growing up, and my dad taught us girls. I have two big sisters. He taught us girls to be independent. And we bought our own cars. He may have co-signed, but that was really it. And it's a good thing. And I think this song, and for this day, tells you that. You remember your foundation. As we grow, we always have to go back to our foundation. Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Well, the strong, they get more, while the weak ones fail. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. They don't come no more. Rich relations give crust of bread such you can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have all the Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Oh, you better get your own child, get your own child, yeah.
I couldn't find my glasses. And Cheryl had them like this. I'm like, oh. Anyway, I got a little distracted. Genevieve, oh my God. How amazing to have you here. Such a wonderful thing. James, you're quite the manifester. Huh? You know it. I was sitting there, I was going, can you imagine being married to her? Wow. I missed you guys. Gone a couple weeks. Yeah, that's it for the year, Cheryl said. Boy, the benefits of this place just flow, just flow. So I haven't been able to tell you one of my little jokes. Do you know why, Cheryl hates this, do you know why frogs wear sandals? They like open-toed shoes. I know, I've got more. I've got more. All right. Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. That's very sweet. Oh, God. That's lovely. Okay. We have a lot to talk about. So, the title of today's talk is Your Spiritual Bank Account. And so we're working with the book, Living the Science Mind. And we're going to do a little fireside reading right now. So we're going to have our coffee and story time. And then we'll go from there. So, Dr. Holmes, in the chapter entitled Your Spiritual Bank Account, Dr. Holmes says this: we all know that we have to have money before we can spend it. I hate that part. All right, my comments aside. We all know that we have to have money before we can spend it. And how comfortable it makes us feel to have a good fat checking account. An account big enough to draw on in emergencies without impoverishing us when it comes to paying for our ordinary needs. I can agree with that. Let us talk about another kind of checking account which is equally important. We are calling it your spiritual bank account because we believe there are great spiritual forces that we can draw on and deposit in our own minds, and which can be used in any emergency or any stress or strain in life. Life has enough of everything to spare. It contains love and faith and peace of mind and joy. Would it not be wonderful if we could build up a spiritual bank account and hold it in reserve? An account which we knew would be sufficient to meet any emergency in our lives. For we are always being called on to meet emergencies. Times when we need more love and tolerance, more kindness and understanding, a deeper faith and a higher hope. How would it be if we all opened a spiritual account? I love this. I love the way he writes. How would it be if we all opened a spiritual account with the bank of life? And realizing that we were drawing on the infinite. Each day, we deposited enough hope and happiness and faith to more than meet any emergency that might possibly arise. The wonderful part about this is that we know life contains all things, and it wants to give it to us. You know, if you go away today with nothing, remember this: life is for us. So he says again, the wonderful part about this is that we know that life contains all these things and it wants to give it to us. It is intended by the divine scheme of things that we should have them. Okay, now he says, how would we go about it to open such an account and be sure that we had enough of these qualities on deposit so our checks would be honored whenever an emergency arose? We know that we have to deposit money in the bank in order to draw checks. We know that the money is in a safe place and the checks will be honored unless we overdraw the account for $36 a pop. We know that the money is in, not that I know. Anyway, we know. The only check that ever bounces is the one I write here. I'm kidding. I don't bounce check. I need some coffee. Do you see my mug? It says, I got this. Sign God. Okay. So I don't even know where I was. Yeah, something about overdrawing your account, blah, blah. Okay. In our ordinary affairs, we have to earn the money, and in a certain sense, this will be true of our spiritual bank account. But the earning of the supply or the substance for our spiritual bank account is a little different. For we earn the ability to draw on the bank of life only through having practiced love. And here's one of the great secrets of nature. The person who has taken the time to harmonize him or herself with love will find that when some incident that seems hateful or discordant arises in his or her experience, he or she can draw on a reserve force, which they now have. He or she can actually apply this to the situation when it arises. If you have deposited enough love in your checking account, you will find that you can meet the situation. Your check will be honored by the bank of life. And the situation that confronts you will be healed. But first, you must have made the deposit with the bank of life. You must have spent much time, listen to his words. You must have spent much time with yourself straightening out all of those little animosities and resolving them into the one great love, which is God. God never fails, and love never fails. And you will never fail if you use the love that God is. What a great write-up, right? Okay, so how do we build love? How do we build love in our lives? As I was praying about this, what came forward for me was that I believe that one way that we love, one way that we show love, can cultivate love, to learn to love the world, is by, no matter what, doing your best. Giving your best. My mother used to say, I told her this morning I was going to quote her again, and she goes, oh, those poor people. She said, do what you do in the world with your whole heart. Always give your best, Danielle, and life will pay you back. Make deposits of giving your best. And I know that there are times when we're where we don't want to be. We're in situations that we don't like. Give your best anyway. Make a deposit of giving your best. And I know, hey, listen, and we've all been there. We've been in those situations where we don't feel like we're being treated fairly. People are criticizing us and judging us. Give your best anyway. Make deposits of giving your best. And I know there are times you look at your life and you go, wow, this is not the way I thought this was going to go. I wanted to go here, and it seems like I'm being detoured, that I'm going over here. Do what you're doing with a whole heart. Make the deposit of giving your best anyway. Now, some will argue, I see it every day at work, why should I give this situation my best? Why should I be giving my best to things that I don't like? I think I found a very good example to show you. Watch this. Russell?
That women do some things that NASA, Mr. Johnson. And it's not because we wear skirts. It's because we wear glasses.
Nerds. We never had a colored in here before, Catherine. It was only Harrison.
Now remember, those early years, they worked endless hours. And she was, you heard the comment, we've never had a woman of color work for us, don't embarrass me. Her colleagues wouldn't even drink out of the same coffee pot that she drank out of. And so there were times when she could have said, screw this. I'm not doing this. Do you think at that time she had the vision to see that one day she would sit in the White House and be given a medal by the President of the United States? That NASA would build a research center in her name? It's been my observation that those that make deposits of giving their best always end up withdrawing, writing checks for the very best that life has to offer. It's an amazing story. And I can tell you one thing, wait till they make a Barbie doll out of this. Okay, another bit of reading. And now let us think of some other things we want to deposit in the bank of life. Perhaps one of the most important next to love is faith. Faith in God, faith in ourselves, faith in what we are doing, and faith in those around us. A person without faith is so insecure, so shaken by circumstances, that he becomes unstable in everything. You know, I'm noticing, and I've talked about this before, we don't trust anything or anybody. We don't trust the government, we don't trust our fellow human being. And when you look at the world, it feels, just as Dr. Holmes said, unstable. Let us see then if we cannot draw upon the great reservoir of faith, which comes only through implicit, complete surrender of all of our fears, whether they be big or little. Faith is natural. Fear is unnatural. You know, when we're born, what is it? We're born with two fears. One of them is falling. And what's the other one, Doc?
Noise.
What is it?
Noise.
Noise? Yeah, loud noises. Those are the only two fears we're born with. I love the way he says that. Faith is natural. Fear is unnatural. Faith is positive. Fear is negative. Faith is affirmative. Fear is in denial of life. And we need a great deal of faith if we are going to meet all the fears and uncertainties that we are sure to encounter. How do we build faith? I believe that one of the ways that we learn to have faith, which really means learning to build trust in God and in the universe, learning to let go a little bit and surrender ourselves to the one, is to make deposits of faith. So I've learned that one of the ways that I make deposits of faith is that when God gives me a direction, gives me something to do, as Nike says, I have learned to just do it. That's why I make a deposit of faith. When we're giving a nudging through our intuition, and it's that idea that something comes up and you feel it and you know you should do it, just do it. Make a deposit of faith. And then, of course, you know, my new most favoriteest book. When we're given a lead from the chief spiritual officer of the universe, God, when we get a lead, just do it. Make a deposit of faith. Now someone's like, well, why? Why? How can I trust something I can't see? It's invisible. I'm going to take some advice from something I can't see. How do I know this is going to turn out okay? I have an example for you. This is an email from one of my employees. And he knows that I'm going to be sharing this. Hey, Dan. I was going to use his name. Let's call him Billy. Billy is one of my employees in Reno. And he writes me this email and he says, I'm supposed to tell you my story. Don't ask me why. He says, so here's the deal. And you have to know, Billy, he served in the military for many years, and he's from Alabama, and his whole cubicle is decorated with stuff from Alabama, which on certain days is scary. So he says, so here's the deal. A month or so ago, an aging uncle of mine called me kind of out of the blue. We talked about things back home and kids and life. Well, during all the talking, he mentioned that his car broke down and it was going to take $400 to fix it. Now let me emphasize that he never asked me for the $400. It just came up as we were talking. Without hesitation, I told him I would send him the $400 when I got paid next. Well, that paycheck showed up on April 19th, and again without hesitation, I sent my uncle the $400. This is funny. Listen, he's an analyst. He's one of our systems analysts, so he's very precise. And he says, so on April 19th, I sent the check. The $400 check cleared my account on April 25th. On April 26th, this is good, you called me and informed me that I would be getting a raise. A raise that comes out to about $500 a month. You want to work for me. So, as you know, I am a man of faith, not religion, but faith. I have no doubt that God blessed my uncle through me, and then blessed me for not questioning anything. That blessing came through you. So there you go. That is my testimony. Go spread the good news that God does exist, and you have a story to prove it. So I said to him, oh my God, what an incredible story. Do I have permission to tell this story, given I changed the names to protect the innocent? He says, absolutely, you have permission to share. It's not me, it's the glory of God. And trust me, listen to me, and trust me, I had my eye on some merchandise that I wanted to buy with that $400 I was sending my uncle. Plus that $400 would have been great in my savings account to use for the family trip to Six Flags this summer. But something spoke to me and told me to send him the money. I didn't hesitate. I didn't stomp my feet and question why. I just did what I was told to do, and when I did that, then I received my blessing. He made a deposit of faith. And I have to tell you, it has been my observation that those that make deposits of faith always, when the time is right, the place is right, these individuals always withdraw the highest and best in their life. It's the way it works. Okay, one more little reading. There are many other things that we must accumulate and deposit in the bank of life. Important among them are joy and happiness. for life intended us to be glad. Listen to his words. There is always a song when we know how to sing it, and there is always joy when we look and we find it. He goes on, now of course we need to deposit a large amount of peace. A peace that arises above the storm of confusion and doubt and uncertainty that so often confronts us. If you listen to peace, you will hear it, and it will flood your whole being. Then when you meet confusion, just write out your check on the bank of life, and do not be afraid to sign it in the name of God. This is God's bank. And just as surely as you do this, you will discover that your words of peace, acting as a law of good, will draw upon a power greater than you are, and it will liquidate the confusion. Make deposits of peace. You know, there is, we'll use a nice word, there's stuff always swirling around us. And you know, with TV, but I mean, we're so connected. Social media, the news, there's so much swirling around us. Doubt and fear and doubt and fear. You're religious scientists. We know that being in this swirl of doubt and fear creates what for us in our life? Yeah. We can't get up. We cannot get caught up in the swirl. Dr. Holmes says, listen to peace and you will hear it. Make deposits of peace. And you know, not all people are religious scientists. So there's a few of them out there in a current. They're in a current. They're in a current of confusion and anger. You have to learn to swim away from the current. If you listen to peace, you will hear it. Stop. Make a deposit of peace. When you're in a condition that's totally energized with negativity, learn to de-energize. Listen to peace. You will hear it. Make deposits of peace. Well, why? I don't know how you expect me to do that. I mean, everybody's in an uproar. The whole world is uncertain, unsettled, unpeaceful. What good would it do if I was the only one that wanted to be peaceful? Let me show you. Here's an example. Now, I have been practicing this idea of making peace deposits. So if I was in an unpeaceful experience, or I was in an unpeaceful, which I don't really think is a word, but you can do that as a minister because you have magical powers, you can make up words. But if I found myself in like this unsettled state of mind, I would stop. And I would lean into it, and I would listen to peace, and I would hear it. And you know, I want to say, I have a picture of President Obama in a meeting room, and there's this flurry of activity and emotion around him, and he is stoic. And the caption under the picture said, he was always the calmest man in the room. I believe it's because he knew if you listen to peace, you will hear it. So as I practice this, it's starting to become a part of me. Even people at work are saying, there's something different about you. And I said it's probably because I get younger every single day. You don't notice me from day to day. But it really was becoming a party, and I thought, at any time now, I'm likely to be like the great Buddha. I'll be in a piece of enlightenment. And then it happened. May 31st. Little something to disrupt the little Buddha. End of a long day at MV Energy in the middle of summer. All you people sucking down that electricity. That's okay. Ching ching. Anyway, 11 hours. Got there around 7, leaving at around 6. Go out to my car, put the key in. It won't start. And I'm like, seriously, really, right now? Me and the only 2 other cars in the garage, really? And here it comes, right? There goes the Buddha. Here comes the frustration. Really? End of a long day, right? And then there's that swirl of concern. And I had a lot of stuff happening that week. Really needed a car. And I'm like, it's late. How is this going to get resolved at 6 o'clock at night? And then, of course, all of a sudden I get into that energy, that negative energy of, well, wait a minute, this could be something really serious. They might need my car for days, it could cost a fortune, swirling, right? So I call my service person at Nissan, and I said, hey, listen to this. He goes, oh, dead battery. And he says, and that's a little bit of a problem because it's like 6 o'clock and we close at 7 and they're way out in the Centennial. He says, I'm not sure this is going to get fixed for you tonight. Now, internally, I'm thinking, OMG, how can this be happening? Why is life against me? Laying on the car. So, anxious, overwhelmed. Because look at it, gang, let's just be really honest. Does this look like the kind of guy that's going to lift the hood and fix this? No. And Reagan wasn't around. So, we're in trouble. Stop. Listen to peace. You will hear it. And what came forward was, I will not abandon you. And all of a sudden, the serviceman on the phone goes, hey, Darren, I just checked your account. Now, is there any way that you can get somebody to jumpstart your car and get down here before 7 because your battery has a warranty on it that expires tonight, May 31st. And if you can get it here, we'll replace the battery and get you on your way. I'm like, oh, back on board. Back on board. Okay, now, so I go to the guard station. Oh, I'm not going to say anything. Went to the guard station, and I explained, and remember, I'm a theater major, so there was a lot of drama. It was made for Lifetime movie, right? And he says, oh, sorry, we don't jump cars anymore because of the liability. And then I really wanted to say the F word. And I'm not talking like father or forgiveness. I mean the Queen Mama. And it's so funny to me, what I observed later is, how fast can we go from being the Buddha, right, to someone crazy, right? Stop. Listen to peace, right? Listen to peace. You will hear it. And it came through again. I just stood there. I will not abandon you. As God is my witness, because otherwise I would lie to you. But God is my witness. All of a sudden the security guard blurts out and he goes, you know what? Let's not worry about that. I'm not going to leave you stranded. I'll meet you at your car in 2 minutes. We'll get you started. You'll get on your way. Really very sweet. So he comes down there. He jump starts the car. Lying to Centennial. In front of, I always wanted to be a pilot. Well, at that moment, I was flying. I arrived at the dealership at 6:55. And just like any of us, you got this pulling in 5 minutes before it's time to close, right? And I'm like, oh God, get ready for this. You know what? All smiles. All smiles. Not only did they replace the battery, they washed my car. It's my observation that those that make deposits of peace, things seem to work out. And as I prayed about that and read what the great mystics teach us, is that, peace creates an atmosphere. The law works best in the laboratory of peace. You see, where there's calm and stillness and stableness, the law can create the very best because there's nothing to conflict with it. There's nothing like our negative energy and our craziness to counteract it. Listen to peace. You will hear it. So, Dr. Holmes, in the last section of this, he says, open up a bank account of life. And he says, deliberately close all of your other accounts. Throw away all of the other checkbooks and forget about them. Start making new deposits. You see, the good news is the bad news. The good news is that you are at choice. And you are always making deposits. And you are always making withdrawals. Now, what is the key word there? You. You deposit, you withdraw, and you choose what kind of deposits to make. So this week, deposits of giving are very best. Deposits of faith. Deposits of peace. And I can hardly wait to start seeing the checks that you write and the withdrawals that you make in your life. I love you very much. Happy banking. Have a good week.
That is what I needed to hear, that is for sure. Thank you, Reverend Dan. Again, please welcome the incredible Genevieve Duke.
That was awesome. Because there are a lot of times when we forget to make those deposits. I moved away from home when I was 22 years old, from St. Louis to California. And I was telling someone today, I said, yeah, got on the plane, that's the red eye. I said, okay, it's me and you, God. And again, you always have to go back to that foundation that you're taught. And if you stick with it, Or if you run out of gas, you go home and get some more. That's sometimes what I would do. I think I need to go home for a minute here and go see Mom and get refueled and come back. So this song, I hope it takes you home. Of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I were home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. It sure would be nice to be back home where there's love. Just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend and let me start again. Suddenly my world is gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, yet I've watched it growing. And oh, if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know that we should believe the things that we see. Well now, should I run away? Or should I try to stay? Or would it be
Before we start, I would like you all to know that I am not the only one here. This is Bob. He's a very shy person. He just liked to spend time with us. So, Miss Kathy, can you hold Bob? Since today is Father's Day, we did a Father's Day activity. We made a affirmation jar. And it had tons of different affirmations on it. And Dad, this is going to be shared for the whole congregation, so woot woot. This is for my dad. The lid says, "The greatest gift I ever had came from God. I call him Dad." And what I really like about it is there was these paw print stickers, so I put it on and I named it to every single dog that we have. Coda, Candy, Carly, Cassie, Cabo, Chloe, Kira. And that's all our dogs.
You have a pack.
Yeah, we have a pack of dogs. And also, we have tons of affirmations in here. If you would need it, you can come around, and then the right one for you will pick. You close your eyes and pick one, and the right one for you, and the one that you need the most will pop up.
That's awesome.
Beth brought in the Father's Day.
Oh, thank you, Beth. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Thank you, Taya. Hello. See my group close together today, huh? All right. I would like to ask the minister, any visiting ministers or practitioners to please come forward. All right. And our ministry of prayer team, please come forward. Now, you know, I said a couple weeks ago that our ministry of prayer, our practitioners are our most underutilized asset. They are here for you. Now I use them. I use them up, don't I, guys? However, they're for you also. They're here for you as well. So thank you. You have mine.
So we'll just stand and connect. And so let's just take a moment right now and just recognize that all that is happening here is God. That there is only one power, one presence, one infinite divine mind. There's only one love and there's only one life. And that life that I call God's life is my life now. And what I know to be true for me, I know to be true for each and every person in this room. Each person here is God expressing itself in a radically unique and amazing way. And so I just give thanks. I give thanks for the gift of life. I give thanks for this teaching that teaches me how to live this life. I give thanks that God had the idea of fathers. And that I was blessed with such a wonderful, wonderful father. And for those whose relationship with their father is discordant, or there's separativeness, I just accept right now for those relationships that there is healing and peace. And it is done whether they are presently here or if they've made their transition. It's never too late to have a wonderful relationship with your Father. And so I give thanks. I give thanks that this week, each person here opens up a bank account in the Bank of Life. And each person here makes deposits of giving their best, deposits of faith, and deposits of peace. And I just know that each person here withdraws into their experience the very best that life has to offer. I give thanks for this good and great day and all that has happened and all that is about to happen. It is good. And so I release my word now into the perfect workings of the law. It is done as I have spoken. And now I simply sit back, relax, and let God do what God does best. And so right here and now, together we say, and so it is.
There
me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And